IPAC, STP First Degree College. Vijay sir, congratulations for making it empowering 500 plus participants across India. Across India. This ethical note, with this ethical note of appreciation, I'm moving on. Right. The first and foremost thing is that role of teachers in higher education institutions. Whether you are an assistant professor or associate professor or professor, what is your role? What is expected from UGC? What is expected from Government of India? What is expected from the Ministry of Education is this. As a teacher in higher education, we should have these three roles. That is why I was concentrating this 20 years before. So that is why my profile focus on all this. One is teaching and mentoring. Number 2, research and publication. Number 3, extension activities and social outreach initiatives. In all these three roles, I don't know how many of you are really concentrating. Teaching and mentoring is mandatory. No other go. If we are a teacher in higher education institution, we have to teach and we have to mentor our students. There is a second role, which is research and publication. Most of us are not able to get in because we are not aware that how to do it. Probably this workshop, this FTP, this professional development is focusing on that. And the third one is optional. Extension activities, holding an administrative position, taking up NSS, taking up PLC, taking up NCC, taking up any activities, and being part of social outreach initiatives. Even though it is optional, as a faculty in higher education institution, we have to take it. But leaving out your mandatory, leaving out your optional, I'm going to focus on the second one, research and publications. Today, what is happening, you know, how do you evaluate a student? Any idea? You can voice out because I cannot see your chat box now. Anyone can voice out. How we evaluate a student? What is the criteria to evaluate a student? Any idea? What is the ethical criteria to evaluate?
Knowledge, sir. Through knowledge.
Surely through knowledge. Is it that criteria what we focus?
Oh, it is one criteria, sir.
It is one of the criteria, but what has the ethical criteria? What is normally we quantify?
Learning attitude.
Beyond all the subjective, qualitative, we are concentrating on quantitative data, right? Either their percentage of marks or grades, correct? Right. Like
Yes,
that,
sir.
how a teacher is valued today because of the technological intervention and the disturbance that every teacher today in the higher education institution are valued based on the H index. Hope many of you have heard about that. Today, everybody is asking, what is your H index? Whether you go for a direct recruitment or you go for a CS. And they decide what is your quality. So if you want to have a H index to be improved, that is nothing but how much citation you are receiving for your publications by the other fellow researchers. So that means you should have a publication. If you are not having publication, you cannot focus on H index. By the time many of you have a Google Scholar account, maybe you can, if you post all your research publications, surely you'll be getting your H index. If it is cited, for that, we need to have a research. Unless otherwise we do a research, unless otherwise we do an ethical research, publications may not come. If publication is not coming, we may not be cited. If we are not cited, then H index may not be there. Tomorrow, it is going to be H index. There are n number of what you call as metrics has come in, but H index plays a vital role. With this little note, if you want to understand ethics, it is beyond learning. It is not a learning, it is a feeling, my dear friends. And I can call you as researchers in one term. Seniors, learned seniors are there. My own colleagues are there. So it means that it's not learning, it's feeling. Unless otherwise we feel what is research. Unless otherwise we feel how to do that research. Unless otherwise learning is a mindful process. Feeling is a heartful process. Unless otherwise we feel for research, we cannot do ethical research. So my humble request for next, from today, try to feel for your research beyond learning it. Right. My entire session is going to be divided into three. One, we are going to discuss on ethics. Number two, we are going to discuss on ethics in research. And the last part, I'm going to spend more time on ethical discussion. I'm here beyond delivering what is ethics and ethics in research. Probably one of the participants was asking ethics in publication. I'll try to concentrate on that in ethical discussion. And you can ask me any questions related to this, and we'll be discussing on it. With this note, let us move on the first part of ethics. What is ethics? Many people are giving it so much of expression. Maybe I can consolidate and make it. Sir, is it audible? Is it clear?
Yeah. Very much audible and
Great.
clear.
Thank you so much. See, this is what end of the day I want to tell you. Moral principles that govern a person's behavior or conducting of an activity. It is our attitude. It is an activity that we follow certain moral principles. That is what, in general, we call it as ethics. And that is what we say that, in general, our ancestors, given this capacity, given this principle for us to follow, and that we need to follow in research. Right? Whatever some of you have said, I've consolidated now. You call it as a principle, you call it as honesty, you call it as a right, fairness, responsibility, choice, honor, value, moral, conscience. But one word I like is integrity. How you are straightforward in doing things, how you are ethical, and all these words gives us the clarity. Beyond consolidately, if you want to have a success on ethics, honesty, responsibility, somebody was saying trust and respect, leadership, quality, again integrity. And even UGC has come out with one broader book, reference book on research integrity, which I'll be sharing on that also. And beyond this, ethics refers to empowerment, like how we are aware of. From there, how we transform ourselves to do it. And we should not see the research in one angle. We should see the research in 360-degree angle, right? Today we have 360-degree angle of visuality with artificial intelligence, mind, what you call it as the one more technology which we have, holistic approach with integrity, and that will bring us competence, capacity, and that competency should be sustainable. Today I'm ethical, tomorrow I'm not ethical. No, ethics should be there in every second, every microsecond. That will lead to success. So this is what I'm able to identify. I'm able to trace out what is ethics. At end of the day, ethics, morality, and values. How to show that? How to show that? Ultimately in research. Only by doing a research with the positive attitude. That is what we are going to look in today. I think I have summarized what is ethics in general and how we are going to blend that in ethics in research. Can anyone acknowledge beyond Vijay sir? So do you agree what I'm saying till now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now the biggest challenge is how we are going to do research with ethics. That is what we are going to look in. Research and ethics. How it is going to go. Because we do research. Are we really doing ethical research? That's the biggest question mark. And many of us are getting confused. Whatever I'm doing as a research, is that ethical? Whether I'm doing right, whether I'm doing wrong. But most of us, I'm telling you, research has been commercialized, even formally. And we are made to understand that whatever way you do research is ethical. I'm extremely sorry, right? But what is that? Today, I'm going to tell you that somebody was asking, the participants was asking, do's and don'ts. Two things I'm going to discuss with you. That when I say research, more don'ts are there rather than do's. But when I try to understand a research as a scientific research, then there are more do's than don'ts. We need to first understand what is scientific research. From the research, then we can understand what are the ethical activities. or unethical practices. Do's are ethical, don'ts are unethical. Right. Are you able to see this picture? Any guess
Yes, sir.
what is it? Any guess what is it? Any participants, researchers? From now, I am going to call you not researchers, scientific researchers. All are
Eagle.
promoted now as, yeah.
Eagle and aeroplane.
Okay, what it depicts. What it depicts. So eagle can fly more than, the higher than the aeroplane.
Yeah.
So that means that,
It is at a greater height.
yeah. End of the day, what I'm trying to tell you is that
Artificial
don't see research. Yeah.
and natural, sir.
Okay. Man-made and natural. Great. See, when our thoughts are scientific, don't look things, what you call as, with littleness. See things in an eagle angle. Eagle eye, we call it as, right? Eagle eye. So see the research in eagle eye, whereby we can understand what is scientific research. And from now, we are ourselves promoting from a word researcher to a scientific researcher. Whether you belongs to a literature, whether you belongs to science, whether you belongs to social science, whatever you are, economics, commerce, management, or whatever subjects you are, sociology, history, whatever subject you are, we are scientific researchers. So from now, we'll move on to that. Why scientific research? Before going on to what is scientific research, I want to tell you why scientific research. Because if we want to be ethical, we should be a scientific researcher. We need to do scientific research. Please understand that we need to acquire. By the time everybody would have acquired, maybe to do a undergraduate research, PG research, pre-doctoral research, or PhD research, or postdoctoral research. If you want to create project, dissertation, or thesis, by the time some of you would have completed PhD, some of you would have completed MPhil, and some of you are looking for. So if you want to do these kind of degree, academic degree or research degree, we need to understand what is scientific research and how to do ethically. And number two, if we are going for presenting a paper in a conference, seminar, symposium, we need to be backed up by research. Nowadays, many of them cut and paste and take the paper, present it for 3 minutes, getting their certificate, posting in social media. I'm sorry, are they really good or ethical? So the research, scientific research has to back up for even writing a conceptual paper or a exploratory empirical paper. The third purpose is preparing a research paper for publication. That's what Sir was saying in the group. I have made it very clearly. You have to publish in indexed or rated journals. You can publish in edited volumes of reputed publishers. You can publish a book in a reputed publishers, national or international. If you want to do that, you need to understand what is scientific research. And as far as my knowledge goes on, UGC CAR listed, then Scopus indexed, then Web of Science. And if you are in economics, management, and commerce, you can go for ABDC rated journals. So if you are going to publish on this, when you are going for a direct recruitment or for the CAS, you are well, what you call as recognized beyond a peer-reviewed journal. Please don't encourage predatory journals, peer-reviewed journals, which are not on the focus. Still, it is going to be very stingy. Government is going to be very strict on it. And if you want to organize seminars, conference, workshops, faculty development programs, professional development programs, training programs, if you want fund, you need to write to ICSSR, you need to write to UGC, you need to write to any of the funding agencies. Then you need to understand what is scientific research. And most important, today, the hot cake that every faculty member in an institution is encouraged to go for major, minor, micro research. Funding agencies like UGC, ICSSR, DCS, DST. That's another important area where I'm concentrating. There are schemes has come out. UGC Stride, ICSSR Impress, beyond conventional projects, minor and major. And there's an international projects under Spark scheme. If you want to apply for these projects, you need to understand ethical research, that is scientific research. So beyond that, what is missing? We can become a supervisor. Are we really guiding them scientifically? Again, when we are not learning, sorry to say this, when we are not learning properly, we are not feeling the research properly, how we are going to ethically guide our undergraduate, postgraduate, pre-doctoral, doctoral, and PDF scholars? Simply we will show others and say that, come on, complete and get me the book, I will sign it. That change, ethically, we need to change that first. Commercialization of research has to be changed. That is where we are building a team. If you want, you can join. If you are ethically right, please join me in my team. Right. So now I'm going. Please understand, if you are in academics and research, we need to do research for our own purpose. We need to guide others. That is why I have given that slide. Now we will understand what is scientific research. Right. In the whole process, sorry, I'm going to tell you or divide the entire session into three. What is scientific research? What is scientific research approach? What is scientific research process? If you know these do's, then we will not go for don'ts. So how to do ethical research? One ethical practice is that joining before any session is an ethical practice. Just a hint for late joiners. Right. How we can do it? I'm not giving anything bookish, or my little experience on research for 20 years, I'm giving it. Research anything if you are not accepting and researching whether it is right or wrong. That is what research. Finding new things. If we are able to find anything new, new can be two types, entirely new or modified from existing. These are the two new things. According to Philip Kotler, I'm telling you, which is called as innovative things. And beyond that, fact-finding process. If you want to do research ethically, you need to find a fact. We cannot, for the, for the supervisor, for the guide, for the institution, we cannot change the real findings, the ethical findings. You need to focus on it. And identifying a problem itself a research. It's not that finding a solution. For example, in COVID-19 period, you know that what was happening, that we were not aware what is the problem, why everybody is suddenly getting these kind of symptoms, why people are dying. In the December 2019, in the beginning of January to March 2020, you are totally confused. And there are researchers, scientists helped us identify the problem. Then we found out a solution, came out with a vaccine, came out with substance, came out with the drug, came out with what you call as tablets. That is what is research. And if you are going to do all this with your rule of thumb, that is research and that is unethical. That whatever I am doing is right. No, there is a systematic process. There is a scientific method which is involved in doing it. That scientific method is what I termed as scientific research, whether it is social science or engineering or mathematics or medicine, whatever it may be. You call it as STEM. Today we call it as STEMs, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and social science. Whether it is medical or non-medical, it doesn't mind. We need to do scientific research. And maybe in book, there are several approaches are there. I have consolidated for you. If you want to do ethical research, either you can do descriptive research or exploratory research. Simple meaning. If we are going to say as it is, the fact as it is, then it is called as descriptive research. And if you are going to put your thinking, your perception, your idea, using some yearly available theories, using some methods, techniques, statistical tools, econometric tools, mathematical tools, scientific temperate tools, then it is called as exploratory research. Mostly literature, history, all those, we normally do a descriptive research. But when it comes to application-oriented courses, programs, domain areas, we will be doing exploratory research. And the same thing which is divided into qualitative and quantitative. If you are going to do with descriptiveness, then it is qualitative. And if you are going to do exploratory with numbers, with symbols, with equations, with algorithms, with programs, with neural schemas from computer science, then it is called as quantitative research. But nowadays, what we are doing in India, we are more focusing on exploratory and quantitativeness. But in the globe, my dear friends and scientific researchers, please understand, the globe is moving towards qualitative research. There are so many softwares like has come in, like NVIVA, and so many softwares like SPSS, R, we do have. And today, the popular thing which is coming in ethically is mixed method research. That means you can have a combination of qualitative and quantitative. Beyond that, if you are in medicine, if you are in psychology, if you are in sociology, if you are in commerce management, normally we focus on case studies. We take one and we understand everything and we present it without any changes. And case study may be on one unit, one sample, one population, one economy, one industry, one segment, then which is called as case study. Case study can be combination of everything. So you take any kind of research, it will fall on these categories. There is one person here. That person name is Dr. Vam. He has come out with an approach for scientific research. What is the approach? In the simplest way to help you. That Dr. Vam says doing research is fun. Do you agree? Whether doing research is fun? Else? Can you voice out? I know it's almost like 7:30. We have 1 more hour to go.
It's not fun, sir.
It's not fun? Great. But this Dr. Vam is saying it's fun. Any other who agree doing research is fun? Did I not making it a little enjoyable this session? Please. Yeah, thank you so much. So that means research is fun. Probably. Right. I will give you an example what Dr. Vam says. Let us come from the reverse. If you take any scientific research, that is what it is. N stands for novelty. Please note down. N stands for novelty. Novelty means any research we are involved, it should be new. But what we are normally doing, we are just adopting somebody has done in US, in India. Somebody done in Australia, in India. Somebody done in Karnataka, in Kerala. Somebody done in Kerala, in Tamil Nadu. Somebody done in Orissa, in Mizoram. This is what is happening. We are just copycats. But it should not be. The idea, research idea should be new, novel. That's what I said. It may be entirely new or it may be modified from existing. Somebody has done a method. For example, I'll tell you. Anybody is there from management, economics, commerce, sociology, psychology? There is a theory called as Maslow's need hierarchy theory. Very popular.
Yes, sir.
Abraham Maslow, he came out with a need hierarchy theory. Do you know what is the basic? He has come out with 5 slots, right? Can anyone tell me what is the basic? The first level?
Physiological.
Can you name that? Any example of physiological needs?
Food,
Food,
clothing, and
shelter.
shelter.
Okay, right. Today, that theory is reversed. If you give Wi-Fi, nobody wants water, nobody wants food, nobody wants anything. Correct?
Yes.
That's true.
Yes, sir.
Wi-Fi has replaced it. Try to understand that technology is replacing the entire theory. Even I'm a hostel owner, as I told you, no, people are very eager to have their Wi-Fi faster than any other thing, right? So novelty is very important. We can even question an existing theory. That is why groundbreaking research are getting Nobel Prizes. Very recently, we know that Nobel Prizes were given for 2022 last month. So novelty, one. U stands for utility. If you want to do ethical research, Dr. Vam says that U stands for utility. Utility for 3 groups. One is utility for the researcher. How far? Whether I will get my degree or not. if I am doing a PhD, whether I should get degree, na? Utility for the researcher. Number two, utility for the policy maker. Our research should give a policy document. It should be implemented it should be created as a policy by the government authorities, and it should be implemented. That is why I was creating a method called as in 2006, I presented a paper with LIC called as Telca Assurance. That time it was not happening. Sending insurance-related marketing messages through telecommunication devices, through telecom services. Today you are getting SMS. For that, LIC has given a cash award for me. Utility for the policymaker. It was adopted by IRD LIC. Then utility for the society. Researcher, then policymaker, then society. And F stands for feasibility, my dear friends. Feasibility. What is feasibility? Three things you need to understand. Feasibility of resources. You cannot think a research where there is no data available, where there is no, resources available, knowledge available. Existing body of knowledge is not there. So at least some knowledge we need to have. Feasibility of resources. Feasibility of time. Second one is time. You cannot do research with a starting time and end time. There should be end time for research. That is why many people are getting extension and they are doing their research. Today, you know that a PhD in full time can be done within 3 years. How many of us are doing it? We are making for 4th year, 5th year time frame. If we are going for funded projects, they'll give only 2 years. Then ethically, we should fix ourselves. And the third feasibility is feasibility of funds, money. All the research, I think somebody is like enjoying themselves. My dear friend, can you mute, which will help us to discuss with others? I know you are in home. That is why I'm sitting in office. I have 2 kids. They should not disturb me in the home. That is why I came to office. Very nearby. Anyway.
So that is the reason why we keep them unmuted, sir.
Right, sir. Thank you.
Keep them muted. Keep them muted.
Please mute it. Whenever we require, we can unmute. That facility is with us. Okay. So feasibility of money. That is why UGC, ICSSR, DST, ministries, NGOs, corporates are pouring NASCAM. All those people are pouring money into individual projects, institutional projects. That is why we go for it. So novelty, utility, feasibility. If you are able to find out whenever you are thinking any research, don't you think that it is fun? Anyone? Doing research is fun. And this was coined by Dr. Vam, looking into his professor. And do you know who is Dr. Vam? Any idea? It is me. We, Arulmurugan, have just made it as Vam. So this is an idea which I have not generated. It is from my professor, observing his guidance to my PhD, Professor Dr. M. Ranganathan, sir, who is from Madras University. So whatever I observed from him in his class, in his deliberation, I have coined his idea. So if you are going to do any research, my dear friends, and now you get an idea, think this fun model. Is it novel? Is it has an utility value, or is it feasible? And when you think of that, you'll be having theoretical contribution. Most important thing is that we should at least add one word into the existing body of knowledge. Then you are doing good research. That is ethical research. After doing 3 years of PhD, coming out with a thesis, if you are not able to add one word for discussion in the future, cite by the people, then what is the use? That is not ethics. Theoretical contribution, and I told utility value. Our research was supposed to have, with these 2 thinking only, I have created this Dr. Vam's approach, fun approach for scientific research. So with this note, we'll move on to the third part, scientific research process. Maybe I'll just putting it across. There are 10 research processes there, 10. We'll go one by one. And in the whole research process, I want to explain you which is do's, ethical, and which is unethical practice, whereby step by step, you'll also understand how to do ethical research. The first step out of 10 is defining research problem. You know that. Please, end of the day, we want to create a title of research, right? How ethically we can. The first ethical part is you need to select interested area of your choice. What unethical part is just selecting a topic of your research supervisor or maybe your friend's choice, your faculty choice. I'm sorry, that is unethical. You can get suggestions. Decision is yours. Whenever you want to do PhD or a postdoc or an MPhil or any PG or any project or any research paper you want to make it, please select an area where you are comfortable. Maybe you would have heard that my specialization was read commerce, science and research. I'm thinking commerce in a scientific way overall. Even though my narrowed down specialization is banking and finance and logistics science, e-commerce and so on. But my thinking is commerce, science and research. Last 20 years, I'm working on that. How commerce can be taught in a scientific angle with the intervention of technology. So select such kind of choices. And one more thing, whenever you want to select a research area, there are two methods available. One, you can generate an idea, or you can review and generate an idea. So two methods I said, please note down, idea-based review. When you are sitting in my session, you can get an idea by the time you have noted down. When you are sitting in your class, when you are taking your class, when you are doing some research, when you are eating, when you are riding, when you are driving, when you are enjoying with your kids, you may get a research idea, my dear friends. Especially in restroom, we get a lot of research idea. Take a paper, note down, or take your mobile, notepad will be there, just note down. And you sit with Google, the demigod of researchers today, Google, right? Not a teacher today. The demigod of researchers is Google. Go to Google, just put that keywords, get articles from reputed, indexed and rated journals, whatever I said. Maybe if you are commerce, management, economics, go to A, B, C category of these journals, A+, A*. Get those research articles, minimum 20 to 30 articles. Then you read it. You can fine tune, you can bring back your title. Or, sir, Arul, I'm not having any idea. The idea is not at all coming. It's a blank, Arul, what I'm supposed to do. There may be somebody like that. Go to Google, type some of your interested choice of area. You'll get a lot of articles. Read for 1 or 2 days. You can generate an idea. So idea-based review, review-based idea. Both will give you wonderful ethical research title. And when you do that, minimum, if you are going for a research paper, minimum 50 research articles you select in that area. If you are going for PhD, please, minimum 300 plus research articles. I'm not numbering it, I'm telling you. What you do is open today we have so many softwares as coming like Manly, all those things are Manly, and all those things are coming. But simple thing is that open an Excel file. And in that, please prepare a statement of review of literature. If you want to do ethical research, we have systematic literature review. There are so many methods has come in. Please note down. Scoping method has come out. Then we have Prisma method. We have bibliometrics, right? So many review of literature methods, scientific methods has come in. But simple method I'm telling you. Open an Excel file, write these 10 things, title, researcher, year, objectives, methodology, point by point, key analysis, tools what they have used, major finding, major suggestion, punch conclusion, agenda for future research. And one more thing, you should have the 11th column is research gap of that paper. Take 50 papers, take one paper, read it, write it, type it on that gap. So 50 papers in one platform, one file. Then keep all these soft copy or hard copy of your articles. Read the research gap. 50 research gaps. From there, you can bring back your title. This is the way of identifying a title of a research ethically. If you are not doing it, like grabbing a title from a already thesis, what you call as copying a title from a research paper, those are unethical. This is an ethical way of bringing a research idea as a title. I'm not going to leave you here. Whenever you think that Dr. Vam's fun approach, and make sure that something I'm going to contribute. Yeah, it has a utility value, but I'm not going to leave you there. As Vijay sir called me, maybe this is a reason why he called me. That whenever you frame a title, please make sure that these three are there in that statement. Research variables, research unit, from whom what you are going to research is research variable, from whom you are going to collect the data is research unit, and how you are going to do the research, connecting the research variable and research units is research perspective. If you take any research title, if these three components are visible on that one single statement, then you are making a wonderful ethical title. Got it? Sometimes the modern research says that there is no need to mention your research unit, that can be mentioned in your methodology. With research variable and research perspective, if you are able to build a title, then it is ethical. Hope you got it, how to frame the title, how to get the research idea ethically by making a ethical literature review, and what should not be done. Okay, I'll go back to the messages, whereby I can see that. Is that okay? Sir, no need to unmute. I'm seeing the message now. I have minimized my presentation.
Okay, sir.
Right. Yes, great response. So that means that now we understood how ethically to start our research. The first step. What are the 9 steps that ethically we need to do, unethically what we should not do, that we are going to focus in the rest of the period. I'm going for my presentation. Thanks a lot for your things. One, if anybody is interested, anybody can put a title in your message whereby we can easily understand how to build a title, because that is where we have a problem. Because most of the research projects, our supervisor will select you by looking into a title rather than the entire proposal. Correct? So can any participant, my dear friends, put any title, any subject, it doesn't matter, any subject. I am more of scientific researcher and data analyst, irrespective of any subject. Can anyone put in the chat box? One title, it will be little hard to type. Maybe you can put your PhD title, or you can put any paper title of any subject. Let us verify whether there is a research variable visible, whether there is a research perspective visible, whether there is a research unit visible. Yeah, thank you. Nagaraju sir has given. I will take Nagaraju sir and Viveka Mary. 2 titles. The impact of taxation on investment. Yeah, we will take one. Thank you so much. Nagaraju sir's title, the impact of taxation on investment. Here, yeah, thank you. So can anyone say in this impact of taxation on investment, which is the research variable? Let us take with one. Yeah, let us take Nagaraju sir's title. Go back to Nagaraju sir's title. The impact of taxation on investment. We'll find out whether it is a good research title or not, ethical research title or not. Which one is the research variable? Investment, thank you. Taxation, thank you. So we have 2 research variables here. One is taxation and investment. Is there a research unit in the title? Which is the research unit in the title? Nagaraj sir's title. The impact of taxation on investment. Research unit? There is no research unit. Probably Nagaraj sir want to put it in the methodology. Good, sir. That is what the modern title. And what is the research perspective here in his title? What is the research perspective? Impact. Right. Now I have another question. Can it be possible to do or to identify the impact of anything? My dear friends, it is very difficult to assess the impact with a given time. I'm telling you, we can only assess implications, influences. It is very difficult to assess the impact. Many people, they put impact on the title, but they do not do the real impact they identify. There are methods involved. The humble request is the influence we can use, or we can use implications in a lighter note. So there are other titles. This is how we build. Maybe one more title, I'll take it. Next title. Viveka Mary Madam has given work-life balance of female nurses in hospitals. Now you see, work-life balance is a research variable. Female nurses in hospital is a research unit. Madam, where is the research perspective here? You have given only two. Work-life balance is the research variable. You can have n number of variables, maybe later in your research. Female nurses in hospital. I don't know why you are more into female nurses. Now we have male nurses also. So we can have male nurses also inside. Maybe nurses in hospitals. Okay, thank you. So research perspective is missing here. Madam, can you answer me in the chat box? And its impact on wellness. Okay, now she is putting another subtitle. And its impact on wellness. Maybe you can say, right, assessment of work-life balance of female nurses in selected hospitals, right? Or perspective analysis of work-life balance of female nurses. So you should come out with the perspective. Thank you, madam. Thanks a lot. So I hope now all the participants would have understood how to frame a title. And this is where missing in many of the workshops and FPPs. That is why I think Vijaya sir has called me to take care of it. So going back to the second step, I'm going for my presentation. Yes. The second step, once you finalized your title, my dear friends, the second step is drafting the objectives and hypothesis. See, if you have a one broader question, research title, split up that into 3 to 5. If it is a paper, please have only one objective, 1 or 2. If it is a PhD thesis, 3 to 5. If it is a project, 3 to 5. And always there is a format to study, to describe. Please never, always have research objective. Don't have descriptive or theoretical objective. Okay? That is part and parcel of our research. Don't have suggestive objectives. That is also part and parcel of our research. You should have only research objectives, not describing objective, suggestive objectives. And as I told you, the arrangement of objectives also should be logical. And once you have an objective, you should have hypothesis. There is no question mark. Because every objective is a question which may have an answer. And you can predict the answer. And that is what is called as predetermined answer for your objective is hypothesis. So minimum one hypothesis you can have for one objective. You can have n number of objectives for the, hypothesis for objectives. So title, objectives 3 to 4, and minimum one objective for hypothesis. Right. The third step is methodology. Once you've defined your title, objectives, and methodology, my dear friends, the more important is this. If you are from social sciences, please, as I told you, you see this type of study. You should be very clear whether you are going to do descriptive or exploratory. There are other names given as empirical and analytical. What data source you are going to use, you have to mention primary or secondary. If you are going to collect by yourself, it is primary. If it is going to adopt from the authenticated and reliable resources, right? I am a World Bank, RBI, or anything, secondary data. And if you are going to use secondary data, you should be very clear what data variable you are going to select. What is the period, 10 year, 20 year? And you should also know what are the tools, techniques, and models which can be used. For example, if you are taking one set of data, we call it as panel data in econometrics. And if you are going to take the panel data of a time series for 2 or 3 years continuously, then we are call it as time series. If it is a combination of panel and time series, then we call it as a cross-sectional data. And most of the social science research, we use primary data. When you are going for a primary data, you should know who is your population. And from there, you should know who is your sample. You should also decide what is your sample size. Ethically, there are formulas which calculator has come in. What is the location? What is the sampling technique? You are going to use it. There are probability sampling, non-probability sampling. If you know the population, if you are going to select the sample, it is probability sampling. If you don't know the population and if you are going to still select the sample, it is non-probability sampling. And in probability sampling, we have like simple random sampling, stratified sampling, systematic sampling. Simple. You have a list, you pick up anything, simple random. You pick up in a sequence, systematic. You pick up in a group, then stratified. And if you are going for non-probability, equally, convenience sampling, purposive sampling, quota sampling. And now we have snowball sampling. Just check it out what is snowball sampling. I'm not going to explain. And we have multi-stage sampling. Then what is the data collection tool you are going to use it? Whether it is questionnaire or interview schedule. If you are going to fill yourself as a researcher by asking them, it is interview schedule. If you are going to give the paper to them and they are filling it in a structured format, then it is questionnaire. Simple. And any research ethically has to do pilot study. Many of the PhDs which comes for evaluation, it is not with pilot study. Unless we don't do pilot study, our work cannot be generalized. So every research scientifically has to have pilot study, my dear friends. So normally 10 to 30% of your sample, if you are going for 300, 10 to 30%, how much? 30 samples, you can do your research and then, 30 to 90 samples. You have to collect the data after framing your questionnaire, designing your scales, scaled and unscaled data, questionnaires. Then you have to go for content validity, reliability analysis with SPSS and so on. You have to make it. And once your data is collected, then you should go for analysis, fifth step. For that, you can do, if it is a univariate tools, bivariate tools, multivariate tools. I think there are sessions on that. I'm not going to get into that. Simple percentage, growth rate, mean score, and ranking you can do. If you have a hypothesis with two variables, if you want to check the association, you can do chi-square test. If you want to check the difference between the groups on a variable, you can do t-test or ANOVA, MANOVA. You can go for reliability analysis, factor analysis. If you want to do identify, if you want to group your cases, cluster analysis. If you want to know that grouped cases are correct, discriminant analysis. If you want to go for correspondence mapping, you can go for correspondence analysis. If you want to cover, if you want to cover, know the ranks of two different groups, male and female nurses, maybe madam can use it. Rank correlation, multiple correlation. If you have a dependent variable, if you have a multiple independent variables, you can use MRA, how independent variables are influencing the different variable. And if you have a moderating and mediating variable, then you can use structural equation modeling. And all these can be used on a linear data, which we call it as linear statistical analysis, right? And if you have a non-linear data, then you can use neural network analysis. I don't know how many of you know neural network analysis. Can you put it in the chat box? How many of you know neural? Because till SEM it is popular. Everybody knows that. How many of you know neural network analysis, NNA? Anybody in this? Yeah. I will tell you one thing. Probably, I don't know. I'm the first person to use NNA in commerce in my PhD thesis. And this was, NNA was in the medical clinical psychology. The model was used in clinical psychology. And one researcher from education, from Oman, he has used in education. Then I could understand that we used in the commerce, in logistics science. That was a period, thanks to my guide, who was accepted to use NNA. I learned it, which is available in SPSS. So if anybody want to learn, you can learn that and you can use it. That works on the responses neuro and it gives the reality. That is the difference between regression. Regression works on the frequency. The SEM works on the frequency, but neural network analysis works on the hidden neurons of the responses. So many people have not tried, only few people have tried. Maybe in the future, I think I have tried in 2013. It's almost like 7 years, 7 to 8, 10 years. So people have to try neural network analysis also, because we may not collect what you call as linear data. Today, research are moving towards non-linear data analysis. We are only focusing on what you call as streamlining the normal distribution, linear data. Today, research are going on non-linear research. I have done it in 2013. Now it's coming up in a bigger way in the globe. Right. So all these can be used with tools for data analysis. Like there are so many analytical softwares like SPSS, Amos, Lizarel, Visual BLS, Deep-Power, Grittle, eViews, MATLAB, Vega. R is getting very popular. Mathematica, Python, Tableau for computer science, especially when we go for big data analytics. Today, if you are working on banking, finance, cryptocurrencies, fintech, then e-commerce, artificial intelligence, then what you call as machine learning, all those. You can use the Python, Tableau, or it is going on. So in my opinion, Excel is a wonderful tool. From there only all started. As a social science researcher, if you know SPSS and SPSS Amos, that is more than enough. Right? If you are an econometrician, maybe you should know eViews. If you're a computer science, probably you can go for R, Mathematica, Python, and Tableau. But it's just like using a different brands of mobile, in my opinion. Right? So almost every analysis, statistical analysis, and every econometric analysis, scientific analysis is available. Right? Going to the 6th step. Report writing. That is ethical. You cannot copy. Many of us just copy and put it in our thesis. I'm extremely sorry. That is where plagiarism comes into. In a simple word, I'll tell you. I don't know whether there is a session. I think 30 words you can grab from others' contribution and you can directly write in your thesis or in your paper, provided you acknowledge them. Either in citation or in the reference or in the bibliography. Then there is no issue. If you are going to copy more than 30 words, then your work is plagiarized. By using Turnitin, they can easily find out whether your work is plagiarized or not. That is unethical practices. Again, I am telling you, all this, that preparing your tool, collecting the data, analyzing the data, if you are going to outsource, that is unethical. If you are going to do by yourself, that is ethical. That is what I can say. But what is reality? People are outsourcing for two reasons. One, they have money, greedy. Number two, they are lazy. I'm telling you, my research, if I would have given to the statistician or any data analytician, they would have charged 1 lakh. But I did myself. I wrote each and every word, thanks to my research group, Professor Ranganathan sir. He allowed me to do everything. He said, you do it, Arul. That is how it has happened. Guide is more important. Our team is more important. So when you are going for report writing for paper or anything, please follow APA publication manual. 7th edition is available. If you are in literature, go for MLA, Modern Language Association handbook. And if you are in engineering, IEEE style. And mostly when you are writing thesis or research report, you'll be classifying into 3. One is prefactory items, body of the report, and terminal items. In the prefactory items, you know what are the things. In the terminal items, annexure, bibliography, all those. But body of the report, I'm telling you the design. Usually, we make 5 chapters, most of the universities: introduction and conceptual framework, and review of literature, research design and methodology. And the 4th chapter, we normally go for analysis and discussion. My humble thing, I've seen many theses which is coming for evaluation. They write their thesis focusing on the analytics to the concept. That's wrong. It should be objective based. If you have 5 objectives, please make 5 chapters. If you have 3 objectives, make 3 chapters. Cult those questions from questionnaire, put it on 1 chapter, use the analytical tools and explain it. Please never say that SEM and you put a chapter, that's wrong. MRA, put a chapter, that's wrong. Neural network, put a chapter, that's wrong. You should say that analysis on influence of X variable on Y variables, right? That is independent variable on dependent variable. You can coin it. There I am using MRA, there I am using SIM, there I am using neural network. That is right. That is ethical. Okay. And chapter 5, summary of findings, suggestion and conclusion. Their ethical practice is write findings of your own analysis. Write suggestions based on your findings. Punch conclusion line based on your suggestion and findings. But what we do a research unethically. We copy findings from others' work. We copy general suggestions, which is not at all relevant in our research. And we copy conclusion one paragraph somewhere. That is unethical. So when you are drafting, please make sure that you draft your own work clearly. Don't copy from others. But only in literature, without plagiarism, you can bring originality. The word I'm using, originality. And whenever you write, please ethically use principles of writing. I think we have 20 minutes to go. I'll complete within 5 minutes. 15 minutes, we can go for discussion. Right? So in what style you are going to write? Readers should enjoy reading your thesis. How many of you read yourself? Tell me. Clarity, grammar, voice. Please write on passive voice. The words you use, the numbering you give, the quotations you make, the capital wherever you need to know, and abbreviations, popular abbreviations, and the presentation of statistical results, tables, charts, and graphs in the right place, with the flow of reading, like a story book, like a comic book. If somebody is reading your thesis or your paper, they should enjoy and they should cite you in their research work. That is how our reporting should be. That is ethical. Simply for namesake, 230 pages, university is asking, let me create 230 pages in different formats and get my degree. That is what it's happening. Right? The other 4 steps are very simple. After completing, don't go to English teacher. They will spoil your research. I'm telling you, sorry to say this. If you are doing research in one subject, you are master on the language of the subject. Why you want to go to English correction? Why guides are showing that? I'm extremely sorry to say this. They will change your thinking. I'm telling you. You can use any of the online dictionaries or grammars. Like there is one thing called as Ginger. Go to that Ginger software. It will help you a lot. They will change your own jargon. Please. So then you, what you call as draft, rewrite, show to your colleagues, show to your friends, ask them to contribute, submit for evaluation. And once it is submitted, evaluation is over, Indian author, foreign author, or your reviewer, as if it is a paper, or your editor, if it is a book, then go for presentation. Always make presentation before going for publications. Get the suggestions, opinions, add on it. Then you go for publication. Publication, as I told you, in a reputed, indexed and rated journals. Again, I'm giving a list for everyone. Maybe if you are different fields, I can answer you. Generally, if you go to UGC CARE website, UGC has come out with 2 lists. In one list, Scopus and Web of Science, whatever it is published, it is by default accepted as UGC CARE. And UGC CARE itself is having a process and they are giving the list. Before anybody want to publish, please check it out, whether your journal is in that list, then you publish it. Never ever go and select a journals, fake journals. You will lose your credibility. Even when I started 20 years before, I was not aware of all this. My earlier publications, even though the paper is good, it was not published in a reputed journals. Now I'm not able to show that. Now I'm working on. In the COVID, my research team, Prabhakar Nandru and Chandragiri Madhavya and myself, Arulmurugan Velayudham, that is my research profile name. We wrote 4 papers through online, sitting in Google, getting in what do you call as the after 10 o'clock in the night, every day 1 hour. And one paper got published in the B category of ABDC journal. So that is a pride. We can now, people are starting citing it. It is on financial inclusion of marginalized street vendors. And their research doesn't stop. Ethical research always continues. From your research work, PhD thesis or postdoctoral thesis or a project work or a paper, you can find your own gap. You can continue doing research. So my humble submission to scientific researchers is these are the 10 steps that ethically we need to, including each step, what is do's, what is don'ts. Defining the research problem with literature, drafting the objectives and hypothesis, methodology, data collection, data analytics, report writing, submission of evaluation, presentation, publication, again and again doing research. That is why Nobel Prize, if you see those people who have done continuously research in an area, minimum 10 years, they are getting it. Why not you and I? Please make it. The biggest challenge today is online ethics. Many online predators has come in. Many online publishers, many online journals, many online predators who are officially announcing, giving their WhatsApp number, creating Facebook, what you call as groups. They are saying that we are doing service for PhD. What service you are doing? Free. They charge you. These are unethical. The biggest challenge today is that whatever you are getting in online is not correct. You have to recheck the authenticity. You have to recheck the trueness. You have to recheck the reliability. That is why I said, please select any research article from the indexed and rated journals of leading publishers like Elsewhere, like Emerald, like Science Direct. So there are so many. I'm not going to brand it. So if you select it, and online sourcing of materials for research is the biggest challenge. I can go over another session on it in the future if Vijay sir requires. Maybe I can go on that.
Certainly, sir.
Right. So end of the day, 10 more minutes to go, 15 minutes to go. I told we are promoted today as scientific researcher. What is the required ethical skills? I'm telling you, please note down this 10. If you want, take a screenshot. If not, I will hand over this PPT to Vijay sir, or if he permits, I will post it in the WhatsApp group for everyone.
Certainly.
Nothing is hidden. If you are ethical, expose. You are ethical, disclose your information. I strongly believe by looking into this, if anybody is going to get benefited, I'll be the happiest person along with Vijay sir. Please, point number 1, typing and formatting. We need to know how to type and format. If you don't know, you'll outsource, you pay money. That is unethical. Online material collection. You should know how to collect material from the demigod of Google. How to access it. There are sessions. Please attend it. You need to go and collect data. Then only you will understand. Don't keep anyone. Maybe for a project, we have official sources. We can have research, associate research people. If you are doing a PhD, if you are doing a research, go on the field. Make analysis yourself. You have to always think conceptual and statistical. Whether I can prove this with data. Drafting and proofreading. You have to draft it. Today, nobody is writing. We are only drafting it. We are only typing it. And we need to know how to proofread, how to identify the problems. Logical thinking and doing. You cannot do step by step, as I told, 10 steps. At a time, we have to do all those 10 steps, or at least 6 steps simultaneously. You should know that. Multitasking. And if you are a researcher, you'll have supervisor. If you are a supervisor, you'll have your researcher. If you are doing project, you'll have a research team. Please try to have an understanding with your research team. Frequently meet, online or offline. Share your ideas. Come out with that. And one more thing I'm telling you, get help from others. I normally learn many things from my researchers, my own students, my own colleagues. I discuss with them. Today also I'm taking so much from you. But the last line is very important, my dear friends. The required ethical skill is do it by yourself. If any scientific researcher is doing all this, then it is ethical research. If you are going to outsource this, then it is unethical research. Simple. Way forward. I'm not concluding. Way forward. Research is fun. Do you accept now? Just enjoy and do it by yourself. Which I created this line when I started doing my research, MPhil, when I completed MPhils, thinking of my PhD in 2002. That is Dr. V. Arulmurugan. Research is fun. Just enjoy it. Do it by yourself. Then it is ethics. If not, I'm extremely sorry. We are involved in unethical practices. But most important, I want to tell you why we are not able to get Nobel Prize. Just think of that. The biggest question. I've been following Nobel Prize for past 20 years. So these are the 6 Nobel Prize of 2022. Medicine, physics, chemistry, literature, peace, and economic sciences. Till now, since I belong to commerce, global arena, according to Nobel, I belong to economic science. That is why I coined commerce science, management science. So if we are working on for 10 years, 20 years minimum in an area, we are also can be part of that platform. But we need to do ethical research. So additional sources if you want is M. Ranganathan sir, who is a follower of O.R. Krishnaswamy sir from Bangalore University. You know that. Anybody knows O.R. Krishnaswamy sir from Bangalore University? And his scholar is M. Ranganathan sir. I'm gifted to be the last scholar of M. Ranganathan sir. And he has written Methodology of Research in Social Sciences. Please at least one time go through this book. It may be available in any library. And UGC has come out with a guidance document, Good Academic Research Practices, in September 2020 in lockdown. Please go through this. It is available in online. Publication manual of APA, American Psychology Association. And very recently, that UGC has come out with a resource material called as Academic Integrity and Research Quality. Whatever I said, it is there in that book. Please at least read once if you are a scientific researcher. And I do run my YouTube channel. If you are interested, on different platforms, playlist. One playlist is scientific research, data analytics, project proposal for funding agencies. So there are 4 or 5 hours of SPSS analytics also is there. Please subscribe Dr. V. Arulmurugan and give a bell button. You will get all those. And I do have a Telegram group called a Scientific Research Forum. Use my mobile number. You can join there. And frequently we will be discussing on scientific research. So I think I have covered what is ethics very deeply, do's and don'ts, ethical and unethical practices of research in every step of research. I think I have justified myself. I made you to enjoy. Now we will go for ethical discussion. So thanks a lot. We have 10 more minutes to go. If you have any questions, I can answer you. I'll look into. This is my email ID, drvamsias@gmail and 9443069733. If you are going to do a help, please convey this information to your fellow friends. Thanks a lot.